have a question. Do you want to increase your team in 2016? Yeah. Oh, you can do better. Nobody wants to. Do you want to increase your team in 2016? So how do we do that? We have to share more, right? That's the easy answer. We have to share more. So how can we share? Well, there's lots of fun ways that we can share. We can share on phone calls. We can share using the videos. We're loving that, right? And we can share in person. And I think that over the last few years, with the addition of using these videos, and you know that I love the videos, I have one myself, that we have become a little too reliant on the videos. At least I think I have. And God really convicted me this year when I was trying to think, what do I need to change for 2016? And He laid on my heart to go old school, okay? More personal connection. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is getting together with our prospects in person and talking to them and doing the old-fashioned one-on-one, face-to-face, so that we can be sharing more and have a greater impact. So when we do that, though, some of you are probably quivering, like, no, that scares me. Number one, don't think I really know how to share properly. There's so much information, and what if they ask me questions and I don't know answers? They'll probably ask me about taxes or something like that, and I just will look stupid. And you're also just so overwhelmed, and you're thinking, I'm just not capable of getting them to say yes because I don't want to be a salesperson. I hear that a lot. I don't want to push. I don't want to be a salesperson. So I am here today to tell you to release both of those, okay? Number one, I am going to show you how easy it is to do a good opportunity presentation. So we're going to set you all up. It's going to be nice, easy peasy. You can do it. And number two, we don't want you to be a salesperson. We don't want you to talk someone in. If you have ever talked someone into something, you know that they then become a big pain in the butt, right? Because they didn't really want to be there and they're not properly motivated. We don't want you talking people into Premier. What we want you to do is we want you to learn to be a guide. So I want to talk to you today about how you can be a guide in helping other women learn about the Premier opportunity. You know, before I was a stay-at-home mom, I was a 7th grade American history teacher. That's a little fun fact about me. And I used to teach all about Lewis and Clark. Now, if you're stretching your brain back, remember Lewis and Clark are the ones that went out and explored the West. But you know, they could never have done that without a little, quiet, meek, young mom named Sacagawea. Sacagawea was a Native American, and she had a little baby, and she was actually the wife of a French explorer who they hired to be their guide. But in fact, Sacagawea was the one that really saved their lives more than one occasion. She was their guide. Why was she important? She knew the language. She had experienced the culture. She had connections. She knew tips and tricks about how to survive that land and deal with whatever they encountered that Lewis and Clark didn't. She was their guide. So we need to all become Sacagawea. So when you're stressed and you are at that one-on-one and you're feeling like, I can't do it, just remember that little Native American gal that made such a heroic impact on history, and say to yourself, I can be Sacagawea, okay? So you're gonna be a guide. So I wanna teach you today how you can actually guide people along the process. So first of all, what a guide needs to do is to be confident, okay? And we need to present a confident front with our body language. I still remember the first opportunity presentations that I did 9 years ago. And oh my gosh, I mean, I can relive it. I can see the room because I was shaking and nervous and my heart was racing. And it was such a stressful moment for me. I was, oh. And you know, when we act like that, when we're all stressed out and nervous, they sense that. And that's not good. We want to calm down. If you would take my pulse today, doing a one-on-one, it would be steady Eddie. Even when somebody decides that they want to join the team, I'm happy, but I'm not like, woohoo, because I know the ups and downs that are about to come. I realize the whole process. So it's just one part of a journey that I'm on. So when you go and you meet someone in person at Panera, I don't want you to lean forward and be so excited to tell them everything. I want you to relax, lean back. You're there having coffee with a friend. And so we are going to learn how we're going to interact with this gal. We're going to ask questions because a good guide needs to learn and listen as much as she talks. And if you find that you're so nervous and you're just like throwing up information all over her, that's not going to go well. All right, so a good guide needs to have good body language. We want to show her that we're not stressed, we're not pushing, we're relaxed. We're just there to guide you through the process, and whatever you decide is great. The second thing is we need a map, okay? We need a map that we can guide them through. Now, there's lots of good maps when you're doing an opportunity presentation. You can use the brochure that Premier has created for us. That's fabulous. You might already have one of your own methods that you like to use, something typed up. I like to use what I refer to as my flip chart, and I've used this for years, and I just wanted to share this with you. This is what makes it so easy. So I just have this flip chart, and if I am going to go do an opportunity presentation, I just grab my flip chart. It's got everything in it that I need to share, and I don't even have to think about, what order or what am I going to do. This is going to walk me right through it. It's got everything that I feel I need to say. I've thought about it ahead of time, and you guys are welcome to use my flip chart if you want it. It's on my website, joyousjewelers.com, and the password's joy. Okay, so one of the things that I love about my flip chart is that it starts with questions. Because like I told you, every good guide needs to ask some critical questions to get to know the person that they're leading. We don't want to just sit and douse them with a whole bunch of information. So the first thing is, what intrigued you about Premier? And we want to hear, what is she interested in? We're going to store that piece of information away, and we're going to use it while we're talking to her. Because if she's interested in more money, I need money, then we're going to stress how much money we can make. If she's like, well, I'm just looking for some fun, I love jewelry, I love social things, then we're going to stress that, okay? Then we're going to ask her, what is your biggest concern or question about starting your own business? Because I want to know right away what she's worried about. And I think this is one mistake that a lot of people make. They assume everybody's worried about the money. Not everybody is worried about the money, either needing to make it or worrying about spending it. So if you spend 10 minutes talking to her about financing and all the 50 million ways that we can, come up with the money, and she's like, I've got cash in my checking account, this is not a problem. You've wasted your time. And you haven't talked about her true issue, okay? So we've got to find that out. And then the last question is, let me tell you why I chose to sell Premier. Now there's two things that every prospect wants to know. And I think if you can accomplish going over these two things at a one-on-one, you will be successful. So these are two things. Number one, she needs to know why you think she should sell Premier. You are the guide. You've gone before her. You know the lingo, you know the language, you know the culture, you know the people, you have connections, you've done it before. You have experience here. It's like reading, she wants to know the reviews on Premier. She wants to know why you think she would fit into it. So you have to point it out, but be honest. Be very careful to be honest. I mean, is she cute? Is she fun? Is she peppy? Is she organized? Is she just loves the jewelry? Is she friendly? Point out the things that you think, oh my gosh, she'd make a great jewelry lady. Tell her, encourage her, fill her up. Secondly, she wants to know why you decided to join Premier. She wants to know if you still like it. Is it working for you? Okay, she wants your review of the whole thing. How many of you go online and read reviews, right? You are Premier. You're the big review for her. So she needs to know what you think. So when you get to this point in the flip chart, this section needs to be 2 minutes. Not 10, not 15, not your 20-minute testimony. This is a 2-minute story. So you want to say what drew you to Premier? You know, for me, I was babysitting and homeschooling. I needed to stop. What did you get out of it? I made money really fast and I couldn't even imagine it. And then why do you stay? Because I love the people. I love building people up. So those are my things. You know, why did you get in it? What happened when you did? And then why are you staying? And you need to be able to spit that out. It should be memorized. It's about 2 minutes, and you share that with her. So you're going over these 2 things, and you're asking her these questions. So as she answers those questions and she says, you know, this intrigues me about Premier, you can say, exactly, and you know, you're just so fun. I think you would fit right in. You want to keep reassuring her that she would fit in our community. So then you're going to flip the page, and it's going to start going into information. You know, one of the things I have on this page is that Premier is a trifecta, and I don't know about you, but I love this company. I'm very passionate about it. And that needs to come through when you're telling them about Premier. I mean, we want to be calm, but we also want to show our passion. I mean, I talk about my kids. You can tell I love my kids. I'm not going to jump up and down and, you know, pull out 5 million pictures of them, but I might pull out 1 or 2. So, you know, we need to be passionate. Premier has what I like to refer to as a trifecta. So it has the best of 3 things. Number 1, we make 50% of everything we sell. No one can beat that. Number 2, our hostesses get 30% of the show total in free jewelry. And bonus, Premier pays for that. And then number 3, we get 10% in commission off of our team. Those are the 3 numbers that make the trifecta awesome. And so you're going to keep walking through, right? And you're going to go through all the information. You're just going to read it. You don't even have to really explain it. It's all here right for you. Some of it is a little bit longer, and you're just going to kind of look at it and you know, talk about it and look her in the eye and go on to the next thing. She might have a question here or there, but we're going to get all the way to the end, and guess what? We're back to questions. So you need to bookend your opportunity presentation with questions. It needs to start with questions to find out why she's interested and what she's worried about. And it needs to end with questions to find out what she's thinking and what she's worried about. Questions are the critical component to an opportunity presentation. Can I get some nods? Are you getting what I'm saying? Okay, thank you. All right, so we're going to end with questions. Now, once we start to ask these questions, the first one's going to be, of course, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your interest in becoming a jewelry lady to join Premier? And I know some people like to use 1 to 5. I can't handle 1 to 5. It's not big enough. I need the whole range, okay? And you know, just to give you a little background, if she has a 1 to 3 kind of a response, then she's really someone that we're going to talk to about being a referral center. Okay? She wasn't blown away by what was shared. It's not right for her right now. We'll continue to kind of talk to her, but we're probably going to wrap up our opportunity presentation pretty fast. 4 to 6, she's probably telling you, I like it, just not right now. Am I right? Okay? She goes, I like it, but, and then, you know, she's going to tell you. Now, we're going to work with her. We're going to see what we can do. But that's the range of what's kind of probably going on with her. If she is a 7 to 10, that should be a jewelry lady. If she does not join your team in the next week or 2, then I would be surprised. Okay, a 7 to 10, that's a very strong prospect. All right, so she tells you your number. Now, I want to teach you what you do once you get this number, and this is critical. I like to call this my 3-step dance. And if you learn this dance, and this is why I'm late, girls, because I'm going to move. I'm not really going to tap or anything, but I am going to show you this. Now, if you can do this dance step, every time you do an opportunity presentation, it's going to take the pressure off of you, and you're going to just really remember your inner Sacagawea. You are being a guide, you're just moving her through the process, okay? So you're going to start and you're going to say, okay, what is your level of interest in joining Premier Designs right now? And she's going to say, I'm a 6. Okay, now this first response is not part of our 3-step dance. You'll only ever do this step once, okay? But the first response that you're going to give her is, you're going to say, that's great! Whatever it is, that's great. You're a 6, you're a 3, you're a 2, you're a 9, whatever it is, that's great. What made you a 6 and not a 1? Okay, see how that was positive? Woohoo, you're a 2 and not a 1. Why? Okay, something. She's now got to give you a positive response. So So she's going to tell you something that she liked, even if it was just one little thing that made her a 2. She's going to tell you something positive. So she's going to say, well, I mean, if you can make $200 in one night, that'd be pretty awesome. Okay, now you know she liked the fact that we can make a lot of money in one night. Or she might say, well, I just think that just sounds fun. Okay, now she's a social girl. But whatever it is, we know it now, and we're going to use that. Now we're going to start the dance. We're going to say, okay, so now what made you a 6 and not a 10? Now we're going negative, okay? So when we go negative, we've got to figure out what's the deficit, what's the hesitation, what's the holdback, what's the objection, okay? So she's going to tell you. So the first thing is, what's your number? The second thing is, we're going to learn her hesitation. The third move is, we're going to overcome it. So we're going to talk to her about it. So she's worried about time. So we're going to talk to her about how we break down our week and how much time it really takes. What you have to remember is that you are living in the world as a jeweler, and you know all the answers. You're entrenched in this lifestyle. You know how long things take. But these girls that you're talking to don't have a clue. They've never done direct sales before. They don't understand that you only do like 4, 5, 6 shows a month. They're thinking you do like 3 shows every week, and they don't have time for that. So you've got to make sure you guys are speaking the same language. Okay, so you're going to stop and you're going to say, time. Well, you know, this is how many I do. This is how much time it takes. You know, and you're going to explain it to her a little bit. Then you're going to say, so now, what's your number? And she's going to say, oh, I'm a 7. Feel free to be a little goofy here and cheer for yourself. Like literally go, I raised you up 1. Let's see if we can do it again. Obviously, you're still not a 10, so do you have another thing you're worried about? So now we learn her next hesitation. And she's going to say, well, I think my husband will probably be, you know, not so happy that I'm doing this. And so now you can go and overcome. Now this is where, if you can't meet with him, the video comes in really handy because we want him fully informed. We don't want this poor girl going home. You're intimidated right now to do an opportunity presentation. Think about her going home for the first time and trying to reteach her husband everything that you just told her. That's impossible. So that's where if you can't get on the phone with him, if you can't meet him in person, by all means, get him to watch the video. Give her some sort of prize if he watches the video. But you're going to, again, work to overcome the objection, and then you're going to ask her number. So it goes number, hesitation, overcome the hesitation, back to the number. And you're just going to keep doing this dance until her number stays the same. I'm still an 8. And then she looks at you like, I'm still an 8, you know. Okay, now remember, most women need to process. So the likelihood that she's ready to go is low. She needs to think. So we're going to give her some time, but we're going to follow the 2-day rule. Live and die by the 2-day rule. We are going to set up an appointment to talk to her again on the phone, in person, whatever works for you, and find out where she's at. Does she have more questions? And when you call her, and by the way, write that in your phone or in your calendar in front of her. Confirm with her. So 2 o'clock on Saturday, will that work? Do you want to try to can you get your husband to watch the video by then? Sure. Okay, and you affirm with her that time you're going to call her, and then please, call her when you said you would call her. So follow-up is really key here, because you will blow it if you don't call her. But we've all done it, and then we just apologize profusely. But we're going to call her back at the appropriate time, and this is what I do. Hey, Sally, how are you? Did you have a little time to think about it? So I'm curious, are you still at the same number you were when we left Panera? So I'm asking her again, what's your number? She could go, well, now I'm a 2. Or she could go, well, I think I'm more like a 9 now. Awesome, and we start the dance again. So, well, why are you not a 10? How can I help you to become a 10? What are you worried about? She's going to tell you. Then you talk to her about it, and you say, how did I do? Did I get you to? She knows what you're doing by now. You've been playing this game for so long. So she goes, like a 9.5. Have you guys all heard that? It always cracks me up. You're a 9.5. So when I go, you're a 9.5? Seriously? How can I get you to a 10? And so you just keep playing the game. Does that make sense? Awesome. Easy? Yeah. So what we're going to do is I want to go over a few of sort of the main big objections, okay? I would say one of the biggest objections is money, right? Okay. So if one of their big objections is money, then we want to be creative in how we can help them. And of course, the easiest thing is that if they do not get approved for financing, we can find someone else to be approved for financing. And I just want to encourage you that if you go on Premier's website, they explain what they recommend. And one of the things that Premier recommends is you do not go for that cosigner. You just have that person, mom, dad, boyfriend, get the card themselves and then take the number and use it for her. So the credit card is always sort of our first line of defense. Is there someone else that could get the credit card? Can you get the credit card? Can someone else get the credit card? That being off the table, then you want to have creative ideas. And fundraising is one of them. We could do a show. And if she is really excited, my goodness, go out and get pre-sales. Go to work and gather up the orders and then allow her to have the profit towards her jeweler fee or her boutique. So there are creative ways that we can get around the money. But you know what? Sometimes if they cannot work with you and come up with creative ways, it just might not be meant to be. So you need to release that and stay connected with her and see if life changes. Always keep connected with these folks that say no, because you never know within the next few years when life changes and they are interested still in joining the family. Another one of the big objections is time. And again, Donna went into that and really broke that down. We need to make sure that they understand how little time it really takes to just be a jewelry lady. There's more time involved with leadership and planning events, but doing a show, preparing for a show, that is not time consuming. And I always tell them everything that I do as a jeweler, preparing for a show, I can do in my jammies with my feet up, my computer on my lap, watching TV. So it doesn't even stop me from watching my TV shows, okay? You know, doing invites, sending emails. So it really does not have to impede your life. You've got to educate them. Remember, you're the guide. They're the student. They don't know these things. They don't know the lingo, the language, the time, what it takes. You need to be able to review what it is that we do for them. Another objection would be, oh, I don't have enough connections, right? This is a great one because you can absolutely, for sure, help her right there in the moment. Pull a piece of paper out, start throwing ideas at her. Ask her questions. Do you live near any female family members? Do you have any friends nearby? Do you have any neighbors? How about your dentist, hygienist? How about your gynecologist? You know, and they giggle at me, but I'm like, seriously? I mean, go into the office, talk to them. You give them business, ask them to give you business, and you start to just be creative with her, and then educate her right then and there on what to say, because it's different for different people. We're going to ask mom to do a show in a different way that we're going to ask the boss's wife. So we need to help her navigate that. Okay, so she might also be worried about the presentation. And of course, bring your little flip chart. Literally pull it out of your bag and show her how easy it is, and just encourage her. This is a time to encourage her, that we all feel that way. Donna talks about having to breathe into a paper bag. We've all had moments where we've almost thrown up. Commiserate with her and tell her it's okay. We all feel that way, but it's not that big of a deal. Once you do it, you realize that it's no big deal. You're just with a bunch of girlfriends sharing about how awesome the jewelry is. So those are some of the big objections. I hope that this idea of being a guide, making sure that you pour into her why she should be a jewelry lady and why you still love being a jewelry lady, okay, doing the review has helped you. And then that 3-step dance gives you that vision of being a guide so that you can improve your one-on-ones, and then you can teach the people on your team to do one-on-ones this way. And we will certainly increase our team in 2016. Woo!